What is up, Batman fans? I'm Tommy from ZD Comics, and today this is my review of the Gotham premiere, the very first episode ever. I just watched it, Fox, 8 o'clock. It's literally 9:02, so I'm just gathering my thoughts. I'm literally out of breath just from, experiencing that, and this is going to be a non-spoiler review in the beginning, but I will eventually go on to spoilers, so if you didn't watch it yet and you just want to hear a review, I will tell you when there are spoilers. But first off, let me get to the non-spoiler review. This TV show, this premiere was amazing, okay? I really liked it, and you can tell right off the bat, it's really focused on the GCPD and not really Batman, because the first literally 10 seconds, this is not a spoiler, you witness the death of, Martha and Thomas Wayne. There's really no build up to it at all, and I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, we've seen that scene a million different times, and even if you haven't, go watch any Batman movie or play any video game or read any comic, and you'll probably see this scene of their parents dying again. So really was not that big of a deal, not really witnessing a whole build up to that, but you can tell that it's really focused on Commissioner Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's wife, Harvey Bullock, who, by the way, the acting choice they chose for these characters is amazing. I mean, I'll go over each one right now. Commissioner Gordon, I love it. I can see him in 12 years growing in that mustache and looking more like Commissioner Gordon. Harvey Bullock, literally it's like they grabbed the comic book, this is not it, Batman comic right here, and just ripped out Harvey Bullock and then just put him in Gotham. It was literally that good, and I appreciate that. So whoever chose the actors for this TV show, great job. Commissioner Gordon's wife, oh god, by the way, it's Detective Gordon. But Detective Gordon's wife, she's a dime. For all my lady viewers out there, you want to look like her. Trust me. Let's see, who else do we have? Catwoman. Catwoman was the first person we saw. Selena Kyle, of course, she's probably 3 years above Batman, and she actually witnessed the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. So it seems like we're going to be seeing a lot of Catwoman kind of stalking Bruce Wayne. And that's kind of interesting, Catwoman and Batman, when, Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, sort of have a relationship type thing. So, good acting choice on her. I can feel like every character I can see eventually becoming that person, their actual ego. So, let's finish this non-spoiler review right now. I give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, as a premiere, it was really good. I got some of my friends together, and I told them, these are my friends who don't read comic books and don't know anything about Batman. I told them to watch the review or the preview, and they just saw it, the premiere, and they're like, wow, this is really good. So I can tell that people who don't like Batman, or not don't like Batman, but for instance don't know a lot about Batman, are going to like this TV show. And finally, for my non-spoiler review, for the people who haven't seen it yet, I am warning you, if you are a huge comic book fan, we did know earlier that they kind of were choosing between a version of the premiere that kind of has hints towards let's say, the Penguin and the Riddler, and I think they went with that version, but I think they kind of cut it in half, So sometimes they give away a little bit of an Easter egg that's wow, that's so noticeable, to the point where, me, I was eh. But then sometimes they hinted small things, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. So it seems like they cut it in half, and literally cut it in half perfectly, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to go into a spoiler review, so spoilers right now. If you don't want to get spoiled, really, it's only premiere, so getting spoiled is not that big of a deal. But if you didn't see it yet and you want to literally watch it with no spoilers, leave now and come back and watch this part. So basically, the whole gist of the episode is focused on the death of the Waynes. I mean, that's kind of the main case. And we literally find out that the GCPD and the Falcone, the Carmel Falcone, and literally basically the mob and the GCPD both framed Poison Ivy's dad. Now, that doesn't really mean that Poison Ivy's dad, in the comics, happened like that. But anyway, they basically framed a random thug to have them oh, this thug killed the Waynes, just because they wanted the city of Gotham to have, an ending. They didn't want this to drag on forever and have to deal with, who killed the Waynes. So basically, the GCPD, all the mob bosses came together and they framed Mr. Pepper, I guess you could say, which is, of course, Poison Ivy's dad. And we did get to see Poison Ivy, not really much, we kind of only call her Ivy, so really not much on Ivy so far, and not much on Catwoman. The only two characters that were kind of in the spotlight who are villains are Riddler and Penguin. Now, the Riddler, like I said previously, how they're kind of doing that Easter egg type thing. We already got the mention of a Riddler, like Harvey Bullock's like, don't give me these riddles, I'll read the Sunday paper, blah, 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 blah. And I like the Riddler. He's actually one of my favorite Batman villains, so I hope that we can get more into that and maybe find out what the origin story of the Riddler is, because really, the main villain they're focusing on is the Penguin, and wow, do I like the acting choice for Penguin. I can see it. I can see the craziness in his eyes, and that's what I like. Like, Gotham is psychotic. It's the Joker. It's like things that will blow your mind even by reading it. It's like scary to read it sometimes, and that's how I read my Batman comics sometimes, or in like a zone where I'm like, this is insane. Literally defines the word insane. And I saw that in the Penguin's eyes as I was watching this premiere. And you can notice that the change between like Penguin, who's just working for Fish Mooney, to the Penguin who is like the crime boss, ultimate badass, is literally happening right now, because we find out that apparently Detective Gordon had to, aka, kill Penguin, but he actually kind of fake shot him, threw him in the water, and he swam away. And we can already see that after, the episode premiered, we saw a little sneak peek of the next episode, and we're going to find out that right off the bat, probably at the beginning of the episode, Penguin's just going to move away from Gotham somewhere else, and he's like, I'm going to come back to Gotham, and he'll be the badass. Like, he'll be the Penguin we see, and hopefully he can get a little bit more fatter, and a lot of people are making fun of him being Penguin. That's kind of what this, like, basically that's how he got his name. It's kind of like bullying. People are bullying him, being like, you walk like a penguin, you look like a penguin, yada, yada, yada. So eventually he's going to embrace that and become the Penguin. So his return to Gotham will probably happen maybe at the end of the season, and I'm really excited for that. It's like the history of Penguin we're going to be seeing in Gotham, and hopefully we're going to be seeing that with a bunch of Batman villains. So really, Gotham is showing us what they wanted to do. They're showing us the origin of the GCPD, the origin of the villains, and we're sort of getting an origin of how Bruce Wayne is conquering fear right after his parents' death, because his parents' death was like pretty short, but we do know that the person who did kill the Waynes probably wanted to kill the Waynes because, one, his gun was untraceable. Not every thug has an untraceable gun, and it's kind of like, it's a big mystery. It's a huge mystery, honestly, and I don't know if we're going to find out really who killed the Waynes right away. I think that's going to be a mystery that's going to kind of just lag around for like a pretty long time, if you know what I mean. I think that we might not find out who really killed the Waynes till like season 3. I think they're kind of going to leave that behind, and Bruce Wayne's going to build off that, like, oh my god, who killed my parents, to help become Batman. So another character I want to talk about is Alfred Pennyworth. I pretty much talked about all the characters besides him so far. I was not expecting to hear his voice like that. I did not know he had that Australian British accent. I don't know what it is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just comment down below. Don't freak out at me. Is that an Australian accent he has? Because it sounds like it. And I'm pretty cool with it. I mean, it didn't really sound like Alfred to me, but I got used to it. And of course, this is not the Alfred you probably have noticed before. This is sort of like an Earth 1 version of Alfred, who has been in the military, has training, and is pretty much a badass. So he can train Batman or Bruce Wayne to become Batman. So we do know that the tie between Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne is going to be pretty tight. I mean, he already has visited him in the house, and Bruce Wayne is trying to conquer fear. And we did see in the preview for the next episode that's going to keep on building. Bruce Wayne is still going to try to conquer fear. So pretty much touched on everything I can think of. I mean, Fish Mooney, badass character. It's mainly focused on Penguin. We had the Riddler thrown in there a little bit, and our two female villains, of course, Catwoman and Poison Ivy, seem like they're going to get a slow build-up, like a very slow build-up, sort of like what they're doing with Black Canary and Arrow, where it's kind of like small, 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 bigger, 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 where eventually she'll have a big part in it. But now she just looks like a thief who's, just relying. She's kind of like, I guess, Robin Hood. Like, she's taking food, but for herself and not for the poor, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I mean, the character who I think isn't going to get much of a spotlight would probably be Ivy. I mean, I think they kind of just threw her in there, and then later in the season we'll find out. But this is a really good TV show. I mean, this is really good. I feel like this has unlike Arrow and The Flash, who's on CW, I think this is going to be like The Walking Dead. Like, everyone watches it. Everyone watches Gotham. It's going to eventually be by, like, season 3. Oh my god, like, you haven't seen Gotham yet? Well, why aren't you watching Gotham? And I think that because it's going to have so much popularity, we're eventually going to be seeing a season 5, and we're going to be seeing Bruce Wayne as he's 19, as he's traveling the Himalayas, and we might see more and more until we actually get Batman. And with this, you know, trademark and who can use Batman or not, maybe we'll literally get a Batman TV show. Maybe we can get a full season with Batman in the costume. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but I mean, come on, how awesome would that be? So that pretty much ends my review. I mean, this was pretty damn long. It's about 11 minutes, and it definitely deserves 11 minutes of hype because this was a great TV show. Now, right off the bat, what are your thoughts on this TV show? Don't forget to like this video, by the way. If you want to see more reviews, if you want a review on season 2 or, you know, episode 2 and whatever, or reviews on other TV shows such as Arrow, Flash, and Constantine, all you have to do is like this video. That means a lot to me. And subscribe to stay updated on all things comics, gaming, TV, and entertainment. You know, anyway, I'm Tommy from Z&D Comics, and you have a great day.
Ready, aim, fire.